Sometimes you walk through life alone, wondering if anyone understands what you are going through, hoping someone will listen and offer a word to make your day. The Church of God of Prophecy offers unconditional love and support, regardless of what you are going through. Visit cogop.ca for a location near you. The Church of God of Prophecy, developing authentic disciples of Christ.
Good evening and welcome to another segment of Let's Talk. I'm your host, Woodroe Thompson, and this evening our special guest is Brampton West CPC nomination candidate. My guest holds a bachelor's degree in business management and is a financial advisor who have worked with small business owners over the years to grow their business. My guest is Mr. Jermaine Chambers. Welcome to Let's Talk.
Thank you so very much, Bishop Thompson, for having me on your program today. Just want to do one thing there. So I am now, as of Wednesday, I was confirmed as the Conservative Party of Canada candidate in Brampton West. So no longer the nomination candidate, but the candidate for Brampton West.
Congratulations. I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you so much.
And we celebrate with you on that milestone.
Thank you.
In reading your bio, as I mentioned before, I understand that you're Jamaican by birth and that you are a financial advisor and you hold a bachelor's degree in business. So when I read all of that, I'm thinking, what led you to politics? Why politics?
Well, politics for me is, well, you're correct. I am, like many Canadians, I am an immigrant. I immigrated here from Jamaica some years ago. My community involvement started from when I was there. I have always been very active, very involved in the community. I believe that as an individual, I have a duty to serve others and to serve my fellow men, serve my country. And therefore, I was always very active involved even before migrating to Canada. When I came to Canada, that community involvement continued. Where that sense of service, that sense of duty to others continued, and I continue to serve in Brampton right here. I've always been very active and involved in the community. That desire to make sure that we are creating a brighter future for ourselves and for others. So community involvement have always been a part of how I was raised up, and that has continued today.
Very good. Well, today, when you look at politics, the landscape is almost like a minefield. How did your family, your friends, those closest to you respond when you told them that you'd like to run, enter politics or run for the MP in the Brampton West area?
Well, that's a good one. But I think those closest to me, my family, my friends, know very well of my desire for public service.
Okay.
They know very well of my desire always to be serving others. But just like with anything else, there's always the concern as to how will you be able to manage this. So, my family have always been concerned, but very supportive, of my decision. They wanting to make sure, that I'll be doing the right thing. So my son, for example, is 7 years old, and his main concern is that how will this impact the time you spend with me? So it is a balancing act to make sure that my commitment to my family is not negatively impacted by my service to the public, and my relationship with my friends as well are not being negatively impacted. But so far, I've had supportive friends, supportive family who want to see me continue to serve the community.
So we're talking about Brampton West. I've lived in Brampton for over 25 years. Which area is considered Brampton West, just for our viewers who may not know?
So Brampton West is the best part of Brampton.
I like that.
So for individuals, it's Hugh, Ontario, going west. So here Ontario going west to McLaughlin Road, to Chincoosy, Mississauga Road, all the way to Winston Churchill. It's Mayfield in the north going south to
Right.
One Less, Sandalwood, Buffalo, all the way down to Queen Street. So it's that block between Hugh Ontario in the east, Winston Churchill in the west, Mayfield Road in the north, Queen Street in the south.
Very good.
That's
So
the general.
here's what I think you already know, because I know that you dropped off some information at my house. I live in Brampton West.
Oh, awesome, awesome. I didn't realize that. Awesome.
Apart from your involvement in the community, apart from the fact that you're a financial advisor, what are some of the things other than that that prepared you for this decision? I'm thinking this was a major decision that you had to make. What are some of the other things that prepared you for this decision?
Bishop, to be honest with you, I'm a person of faith. So my involvement, I was raised up as a person of faith. From my
Right.
grandparents to my parents, they're all people of faith. So
Right.
they taught me the importance of faith. And you grow up hearing about people like Daniel. You grow up hearing about people like Joseph.
Yes.
Who really served their community at the time, and
Right.
really stood in their faith as they served. And from an early age, I know that there is a place in public service for people of faith to be able to stand in their faith and stand in their integrity as they serve humanity. And it always seems to be as well that people of faith are very wise in their service.
Of
You know,
course.
if we look at the examples we have of Daniel and Joseph, Joseph, for example, was able to save an entire nation from starvation and famine because of how wise he was in his faith of service. Um, and then, that background in faith, I recall being one of the very youngest members of my church board. Growing
Right.
up as a teenager, going into high school, the church gave me an opportunity to serve on the board. And so I recall being a very young church board member, learning, how to have conversations with others, see what is going on in other departments, discussing budgets and how we talk about budgets and serve the budgets. How you balance competing interests between whether it be the health department, the youth department, the community service department, and putting it all together and executing a plan. Once the board has made a decision, we come together and we execute. So I think those early exposure, back in my faith upbringing, kind of prepared me thoroughly for a service like this. So as a member of parliament, now you are going to be learning how to balance competing interests. How to serve the people from different, like in Brampton now, how to serve people from different backgrounds, people with different needs.
Right.
How to make sure that within the constraints of limited resources, how you bring all that together to make sure that people are served positively. So I think those early upbringings have been a good part of that preparation.
Very good. And it's amazing how faith prepares you for the next chapter in your life. Now, share with us some of the issues that you would like to address when you're given this opportunity to represent Brampton in that area.
So there are a few things that we want to look at. As it is right now, we know the biggest challenge that we face is this pandemic.
Right.
This pandemic has really reshaped our lives and have, in a sense, challenged the lives and livelihood of a lot of people. We have seen small businesses close. We have seen quite a number of people losing their jobs. So
Right.
I think the number one priority, well, we're not sure when we're going to the polls as yet, but the number
Right.
one priority is really to help people rebuild their lives and rebuild their livelihood. So job creation becomes essential. The Conservative Party has made a commitment that we will look to rebuild at least 1 million jobs that were lost during this pandemic within the first year of a Conservative government. That's our number one priority, to really get paychecks rolling again,
Right.
so that people can have access to once again taking proper care of their families, to pay the bills and making sure that we're not running into debt. That's also a unique situation in Brampton West. Um, as someone who lives in Brampton West, you will know that many people refer to us as the bedroom community. you
Correct.
you come home to Brampton West to sleep, and then you go out to look for work because we don't
Right.
have the jobs in Brampton West. And that's one of the things I am hoping to change as well. And I would be a constant champion to the government, to have the government invest in Brampton West. So, for example, if you have an immigration issue, you have to
Right.
drive down to Mississauga to take care of that. If
That's
you
true.
have a Veterans Affairs issue, you have to go to Mississauga. You know, Revenue Canada, they have offices in Sudbury, but Brampton is Canada's ninth largest city. And outside of the passport office, we don't have the federal government having a presence, being an employer in Brampton.
Right.
And that's something I'm hoping to change, because if we are the ninth largest city, the government should treat us like Canada's ninth largest city. And the government should be one of the employers here, providing good jobs. So that's one thing I want to see. And then, I will partner with our municipal government to lobby companies to provide incentives to get companies to come and invest in Brampton. So that's number one for us, is really to get jobs going again and get the people of Brampton working again, getting their paychecks. Another one which is very important to me is the issue of mental health and wellness. You know, um, as we go through this pandemic has caused a lot of strain,
Oh yeah.
on people, on their lives. People are not able to gather with friends. You're not able to gather with family. People are not able to go to their place of worship. People have lost loved ones and could not go to funeral services. So it has taken a toll on people's mental health and wellness. And one of the
Right.
things we are committed to is to really invest in mental health. So we are committed to three things on mental health and wellness. One is that we want to implement a national standardized three-digit number for mental
Right.
health and wellness support across the country. So when you need help for security, you call 911, you get a response. We
Hmm.
want, when you need help for mental health and wellness, particularly after this pandemic, there's a three-digit number you could call and you will get a response anywhere you are in the country. We
Right.
also want to make it normal that people can go out and seek medical support for their mental wellness. So we are going
Right.
to give employers an incentive where you can add mental health and wellness to the healthcare package that employers offer to employees. So that's something that we're going to come with as well. And then we're going to increase the health transfer payments to the provinces to make sure that they can offer mental health support to Canadians across the country. So we have quite a few others, but those are two which I think are rather, rather important. And allow me to just say another one there as well is the whole issue of accountability and
Right.
anti-corruption. A lot of folks, Bishop Thompson, stay away from politics because it is perceived as being corrupt. It is perceived I say perceived because while it is that some people misuse public funds or misuse the trust that has been placed in them, politics continue to be a dignified way to serve humanity, and I strongly believe that. That's why I'm into it, right? But we want to make sure that we enact anti-corruption laws so that persons who betray public trust can be held accountable.
Very good, because you're correct. In our world today, most people fail to trust politicians, especially the younger crowd. We're going to continue our conversation. We'll be right back with Jermaine Chambers after this break. Please stay with us.
Sometimes you walk through life alone, wondering if anyone understands what you are going through, hoping someone will listen and offer a word to make your day. The Church of God of Prophecy offers unconditional love and support, regardless of what you are going through. Visit cogop.ca for a location near you. The Church of God of Prophecy, developing authentic disciples of Christ.
On the Let's Talk television program, we share solutions to real-life problems with real people, showing how faith guides everyone through the storms of life. We talk about tough issues that affect all generations. Our conversations help you learn, grow, and lead. Help us continue with this great work by partnering with us today. Call 905-625-1278, extension 233, or visit letstalkca.org. We look forward to your partnership with us to change lives. Let's Talk, revealing the heart of Christ through engaging media conversations.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. My guest is Jermaine Chambers. And Mr. Chambers, just before we went to the break, we're talking about the fact that some people don't trust politicians. What would you say to the people in the Brampton West area that says that, all politicians are the same? I'm not going to vote. I don't really care. What's your word to them?
Well, I believe that, and I would encourage all the residents of Brampton West to really get active and get engaged in the political process. This election is really about, what are your values and
Right.
what direction do you want to see the country go in? And, all of us have different values, right? And, I would encourage every resident to really get out there, vote your values, because there are significant differences between the political parties. There are
Right.
significant differences between how we see government. And, so let's look at a few issues, for example. One of the issues that I have great concern about was this Bill C7 as it relates to how we look at life and how we treat life.
Right.
The Liberal government has pushed through a bill where it says, for example, if you have a physical disability, if you have a mental health issue, listen, we are creating euthanasia as a way out for you. Medical assistance in dying as a way out for you. No, if that's your value, then it's okay for you to support a government who is going to react in that way. But
Right.
My value says that I should have a respect for life, and therefore I believe that if someone has a disability, if someone has mental health issues, as a government, we should put in place resources to make sure that they get access to adequate health, and not
Right.
necessarily say to them, listen, medical assistance in dying is an avenue for you. I would want to see a government that really invests in palliative care,
Yes.
really invest in mental health support. So there are real consequences to the kind of government that we have. When you look at the whole issue of debt and the burden of debt that this government is carrying, it simply means that later on down the road we have to pay for the debt somehow, right?
Right.
And government pay for debt by imposing higher taxes on people. So when you look at the way that Mr. Trudeau has been spending, and the way that he and how he has been spending money in terms of the whole SNC level and issue, the whole We Day, where he took
Right.
$500 million to give to the We charity organization, the whole ventilation system, when he gives a former Liberal MP another $237 million. All this we have to pay for somehow, and that could mean increased taxes down the road. So I would say to every resident of Canada, Brampton West, look at your value, where your values lie,
Right.
and align yourself, give your vote to someone, to a party that best aligns with your value. Because, we all want to make sure that we have
Right.
the best Canada for ourselves, the best Canada for our children, and sitting back and saying, I don't care, it is not really an option for us.
I agree with you. Now, what attracted you to the Conservative Party?
Well, I think the Conservative Party over the years have been a party that's very inclusive, have been a party that really gets Canada on a track to best realize our dreams. So when we look at, the economic management and the empowerment of Canadians, we have seen Canadians thrive under the Conservative Party. We have seen the Conservative Party able to keep the budget in debts in track, to deliver balanced budget. So I believe that government must be efficient. Government must have great respect for taxpayers' dollars. And you know what? I don't like the government to be all into my pocket. I don't like the government to be all into my business and tell me how to live my life. And
Right,
the Conservative Party recognizes personal responsibility and recognizes that as individuals, because governments provide the framework, but as individuals, you get
right,
to choose how you want to
hmm
live your life.
right,
So that was one of the things that attracted me to the Conservative Party, and that's why I want to be a part of that. To say it, the Conservative Party allows you to live your values, so protecting our freedoms, So whether it is our freedom to worship, whether it's our freedom of our speech, our freedom to assembly, those are
right,
fundamental freedoms that the Conservative Party upholds and continue to uphold. And particularly in times like these, we need a government that's going to be respectful of people's rights, respectful of
correct,
people's freedoms, and to
right.
provide opportunity for you to grow and to raise up your family in accordance with your values. And I think those are some of the principles that the Conservative Party stands for that attracted me to that.
Very good. Well, recently the Brampton West MP had to step aside from her position. Um, is that why you decided to run in the Brampton West area, or was there some other motivation?
No, as a matter of fact, I launched my campaign before the Brampton West MP had to step aside from being a
Right,
parliamentary secretary, and that's something that I think is also rather important. Brampton for quite a while have not had a seat at the. We don't have a cabinet minister in Brampton,
right,
and the Brampton West MP was one of the most senior MPs in Brampton with the
right,
parliamentary position.
right,
And I think when you are given that position of trust, you owe it to your residents to uphold that position. You owe it to your residents to do your best to serve them and to serve the nation in that position of trust that has been given to
right,
you. And I think it's rather unfortunate that the member of parliament, by her own action, would have been led to be fired
right,
from that position. And I want the people of Brampton West to be reassured. Brampton was very special to me, Bishop Thompson. It's where I bought my first house when I came to Canada. It's
right,
where my son was born.
right,
It's where my son continues to be grown up today. So it's special to me in that sense that I want to see it grow. I want to see it thrive and to be a place that we can all be proud of, where we can find good jobs, we can go to work, we can come home, we can enjoy our parks, we can enjoy walking on the streets, where we are secure in terms of we don't have the crime issue. We have a few crime issues creeping into Brampton West right now. We need to get those under control. We need to provide opportunities for our young people, all right, and we need to make sure that the rights of Canadians are always respected. So those are some of the things that really want me to see my community grow and thrive.
very good. Now, there's a lot that's been said about systemic racism in America, in Canada, and just around the world. You are a black man. The last time I checked, I don't think there's a black person that held a position in the Brampton West area. How is that impacting you as a black man running in that area?
Brampton West is one of the most culturally diverse areas
Correct.
in Canada.
Correct.
We have a wide mixture of cultures in Brampton West, and that's why I think
Right.
that makes it so unique. When we get out and we talk to all the different groups in Brampton West, one of the things that I see is how much we are similar in terms of the way our aspirations and our desires. A lot of us are from the immigrant communities. We left the countries that we're from. We came to Canada in search of a better life for ourselves and for our families. So whether we are from the black community or from the South Asian community, we all want to see a better life for ourselves and for our children, and
Right.
that's not lost on me. So I believe that what I want to see as a black man is opportunities, and I know that
Right.
others as well want to see those opportunities. They want to be able to go to work. They want to be able to provide for their families. They don't want to be drowning in debt. They want to be able to own homes and own properties and to thrive and to grow. So that's what I see and come to the table with. in terms of having those representations to make sure we have access to those things that will impact the quality of our lives,
Right.
irrespective of our ethnicity, our faith. We all want to grow and to strive, and I want to be there for everybody. I want the persons who look like me to know that they can always come and I'll always represent them, and those who don't look like me as well, I want to
Very good.
assure them that I will also be there to represent them and to make sure that I'm doing my best, that they can advance and their families can advance and their businesses can advance and their jobs can advance.
Right. Uh, so you mentioned the younger crowd earlier, the young people. What are you doing to appeal to the younger Canadians in the Brampton West riding? And are younger Canadians responsive to your platform? How are they responding to your platform?
So the first interview I did after being confirmed as the Conservative Party of Canada candidate in Brampton West is with a youth organization. And
Yes.
we had a very great conversation surrounding mental health and wellness.
Right.
Young people are concerned about their mental health and wellness. Young people are concerned that they want to be able to have good jobs when they graduate from university or from college.
Right.
They want to be able to start businesses and to grow businesses. And one thing we have seen in this government is that this government don't know how to do business. This government would rather, keep you poor, send you a small check each month and think that you can get along with that, on some kind of a welfare program. But I know young people are energetic. They want opportunities. And that's
Yes.
what the Conservative Party is offering. We're offering opportunities where you can come with your hard work and you can achieve, you can grow and thrive. And I think young people in Brampton West will see a marked difference between what I am offering with the Conservative Party and what they have been getting with the current member of parliament. I'll give you a joke. Well, it's not really a joke, it's something serious. But I wrote to the member of parliament recently to say to the member of parliament, hey, listen, there is a basketball court at Cafe Campbell on the outside. There are no lights on it. The tennis court the adjoining tennis court has lights. So if you go there at night, people are there playing tennis at night. But those who
Right.
play basketball can't play because there are no lights. Now I understand that basketball court jobs falls under the responsibility of the municipality. But I wrote the member of parliament and said, can you get together with the mayor and work with the mayor and get some lights installed on this basketball court? The member of parliament replied to me in an email saying, that's not my responsibility. And I'm saying that I want to do politics differently. Where as
Right.
your member of parliament, if that comes to my attention, I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to give the mayor a call and my councillors a call and say, hey, how can we work together to improve this facility so that our young people can go out, particularly at a time like this, to get some physical activity going and to make sure they are doing something that benefits their mental health and wellness. So there's two different approaches to how I would see representation versus how the current member of parliament is doing representation.
Very good. Well, Mr. Jermaine Chambers, it was a pleasure having you. Your time is coming to an end, but we wish you all the best. Very quickly, how can the folks who are listening get in contact with you?
So the best way to reach me right now, just go to my website. All my contact information is there. As I said, it was just on Wednesday night that I won the nomination, and we're just been confirmed as the candidate. So as time goes by, we're going to get some more information out. But the website is very easy. It's jermainechambers.ca. So jermainechambers.ca. All my information is there. You can reach me by call, text, email, phone number, which will not change, by the way. One of the reasons why people mistrust some of those who go into the politics, before you're elected, they can get to you. After you're elected, they can't find you. But I promise you, my contact information will not change. So my phone number is 647-770-4690. You can always reach me. Those information is also at the website. And I will always make myself available and accessible to the people of Brampton West if given the chance to serve you as your member of parliament. I also want to thank you very much, Bishop Thompson, for the opportunity to be here with you and to be with your listeners.
Thank you so much for being with us, and we wish you all the best. God bless you.
Thanks so much.
Well, folks, that's all the time that we have for today. Hope that, especially those who live in the Brampton West area, that you will just follow the platform of Mr. Jermaine and make sure that you vote. That's our responsibility as citizens and especially as Christians. Again, we want to thank you for being with us and would like to say that if you're viewing us on YouTube, would like for you to hit the subscribe button. We'd like to also to hear from you, and we also need your financial support. One of the easiest way to send us your financial support is to use e-transfer, and you can send us your gift at donate@cogop.ca. Please, we need your help financially. Donate@cogop.ca. And of course, there's text to give and other ways you can give. Please let us hear from you. God bless you. We'll see you next time. Let's keep talking.
On the Let's Talk television program, we share solutions to real-life problems with real people, showing how faith guides everyone through the storms of life. We talk about tough issues that affect all generations. Our conversations help you learn, grow, and lead. Help us continue with this great work by partnering with us today. Call 905-625-1278, extension 233, or visit letstalkca.org. We look forward to your partnership with us to change lives. Let's Talk, revealing the heart of Christ through engaging media conversations.
Sometimes you walk through life alone, wondering if anyone understands what you are going through, hoping someone will listen and offer a word to make your day. The Church of God of Prophecy offers unconditional love and support, regardless of what you are going through. Visit cogop.ca for a location near you. The Church of God of Prophecy, developing authentic disciples of Christ.